At the early age of 3, young Mark was pondering all the different learning technologies that he might experience over a lifetime. Just like the early caveman, Mark began his early learning with paint sticks called crayons. He would learn to write on paper that resembled highway roads, which some would say led to his choice of his college major as a civil engineer. Later in elementary, his paint sticks became skinnier, and so did his paper. He was then taught that printing took too much time and that cursive would be more efficient use of space and time. Teachers soon learned that students hated to just stare at them for 8 hours a day and began projecting text to the front of the room that would be very engaging. In the 3rd grade, the first computer entered our classroom. There was only one cart that traveled from room to room. We got to be on it in an alphabetical order, so I was always in the middle of the pack, watching as all my A through K classmates got to be first in line. This did not replace our textbooks, but time spent on the computer was said to enhance what we were learning. This limited access lasted through high school, as we did not ever get a computer lab or laptops while I was there. Graduation gifts allowed me to save up and buy my first computer for college, an IBM PS2 with a 30 megabyte hard drive and 1 megabyte RAM. This was basically a large word processor that I could have in my dorm room, as we did not have internet yet until my senior year, which also came with our own college email addresses. Unless you were Zach Morris, cell phones were also a luxury until I was first married and we had one for emergencies only. This first time, we were no longer tethered to a physical room or building in order to communicate. My first smartphone I got after I worked in my field for at least 5 years. It did not really have apps, but I was able to access information through email on the web wherever I was. The thing I remember most about my first smartphone is it had more memory than my first personal computer 10 years prior. This was a big pivot point for me in realizing the power of mobile devices and the future of learning and working. Now my smartphone is basically more powerful than my computer. In fact, I shot and edited this movie on my phone. Currently, I bring my laptop with me to class as a returning student. My textbooks and notes are all digital, and the professor's notes are often projected on smartboards in the front of the classroom. We also have the ability to learn from wherever we are and wherever the educator is through distance learning. Since I work with K through 12 youth in the 4-H youth development field, I've also become the teacher and a student of learning these new technologies along with my youth. Some of this technology is similar to ones we've experienced before, like Apple TV, and sometimes it's futuristic, like virtual reality, printing 3D objects, personal flying devices, and circuits that make ordinary household objects connected to the internet. What will we see as we move into the future? I think the biggest conflict is that we will have people in all different learning environments. And while the technology is there to move in a digital environment, do we actually learn better in that space, or is it just a fun and flashy place to be?